Welcome to Spotlight ETSU. I'm your host, Carrie Oliveira. Today we'll be talking to Michael Wallace, who is your SGA president, and Morgan Smith, who is a cadet in the ROTC program here at ETSU. With me now is Mike Wallace. Hi.
Hey,
Thanks
how are
for
you?
being here. We're really excited. So your State of the Student Body speech got rained out or snowed out, what was it, week before spring break was supposed to go?
Right, the Monday before spring break, the governor decided to cancel classes all across the state.
State of emergency.
So, therefore, he canceled the State of Student Body address.
That's unfortunate, so maybe we'll catch up on some of the things that you were going to talk about. But first, let's talk about you. How long have you been at ETSU?
I've been here for almost 3 years now.
You're a junior then?
Yes.
Oh, good, you're on track.
Yes.
Are you planning on graduating in 4 years?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, yay.
Perfect, yeah.
That's outstanding. And so you recently became a communication studies major. Really excited about that.
Yes, as of fall of this year, last year.
And why did you decide to pick comm studies?
Well, typically I just wasn't enjoying the classes that I was taking. They were larger classes, some of that because it was gen ed, but some because they were science classes, and a lot of students were in those classes coming to ETSU. And so comm studies, I met students from that department, and they had kind of approached me and said, hey, listen, these are smaller classes, the instructors are awesome, why don't you give it a shot? And so I really liked the subject matter, so I've stuck to it.
And so what are you going to do when you grow up?
I am thinking that I'm going to go into higher education, possibly with the goal of being a dean of students at a college someday.
So like our version of Jeff Howard.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
So maybe do grad school for that kind of thing, or maybe education policy stuff.
Are there programs specifically for higher ed admin?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just higher ed counseling. So no, there are actual admin programs.
There's typically two tracks, the admin and the counseling, but both can generally go into the administrative roles.
Well, that's fun. And so what do you want to do higher ed admin for, or higher ed anything for?
Well, through working as student body president, I've been in a lot of higher education committee meetings, and so that's really opened my eyes up into the background of education and policy and decisions regarding how education is provided to students, and I've really enjoyed that.
So is that primarily what your job as SGA president is?
No.
Okay, so what have you been doing as SGA president?
As SGA president, typically meetings at 4 o'clock Tuesday in the forum.
This is your Senate meetings, right?
Yes,
okay.
Senate. So there's the legislative format of SGA where we actually pass changes that students want to see. There's the judicial side of SGA where we hear cases that students are brought into.
Right.
And then also the executive side with the cabinet where we delegate different tasks for like concerts or Civility Week or homecoming. So we have a bit of programming aspect for students to see as well.
So much like sort of the construction of government in general, we have multiple things we're going on. So judicial, and then we pass rules and laws and policies, and then we plan awesome stuff.
Right.
Which the federal government doesn't do at all.
No.
So we're better than that. Why did you decide
We are
to become,
better than that.
We sure are. Why did you decide to become SGA president? Why did you decide to run? So you have been SGA president since the beginning of the 13-14 academic year.
Right.
Right, and so you decided to run, why?
Well, it had never really crossed my mind, but I had been approached from a few senators and a few students that were like, hey, I really think you should look into this. I think you'd be a great representation type of thing. And then the past student body president, Ikra Ahmad, I was really close with her. We were great friends, and she encouraged me. She entertained the idea that I should be SGA president, and so that.
And she was telling you that after having done all the work of SGA president.
Well,
like, she knew what it was like.
Right. While she was in her fall semester, she kind of said, "Hey, maybe you should look into this." But I didn't really know at the time how busy that my life would become.
Is it busy?
It's so busy.
Constantly doing something. You never leave campus. You and I were joking about that before we started shooting. Like you never go anywhere because you're here. So you're Greek, right?
Yes.
You belong to Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
Right.
Right. Okay. And so did what role do you suppose being Greek had to do with your ability to run the SGA?
Well, I think a lot of our students here that are Greek are very extroverted and loud, and they're on campus, and you know who they are, and you see them, and they're visible. And so knowing those type of connections has helped me really communicate effectively between those type of students. So I think that's really why, just the nature of Greek life in general and how it is kind of in your face at times.
Yes.
Yeah, it has allowed me to kind of pick up on those type of concerns more easily.
And well, I mean, in general, though, the Greeks are sort of a small percentage of the overall student body. So are they overrepresented by the fact that you're Greek, or you try as much as possible to be balanced, even though the Greeks are the kind of the most visible folks on campus?
I think Greeks are overrepresented because they're loud.
That is true. I'm often overrepresented. Oh, there's your fraternity house. That's nice.
That's where I live,
Looks
actually.
very tidy. Surprisingly.
That's
Is that
actually a clean
Lion wearing
picture.
a hat?
Yes.
Why is he wearing a hat? Like
that
a
hat
fez?
is from Pakistan, and Ikra actually brought it to me, and so I decided to put it on the lion for decoration.
And why wouldn't you?
Right. It's a typical fraternity thing to do. Just
put hats
be
on.
resourceful and put things
And
places.
decorative.
Right.
I find that to be the case. So Greeks are overrepresented in general because they're loud. So you don't feel like you being Greek like exacerbates that problem. You think you do a fair job of representing the entire student body?
Right.
I mean, that's partly not your job. It's the senator's job too, right? Is to
Right,
represent everybody
exactly.
else.
And I don't consider myself a typical Greek.
I would agree with that.
I'm a little more introverted, but I'm appreciative of the Greek community.
Indeed. So you were going to talk about the state of the student body. And what were you going to talk about?
Yeah, so we're
How
looking.
is the student body?
How is the
Yeah.
student body, just generally speaking?
Yeah, like what is the state of the student body?
I think, well, typically we're going to talk about the changes that we have passed this year, and just let the students know how transparent we're being, kind of with, hey, this is what you wanted to see, this is what we've done, these are the things you can look forward to next year, and kind of a recap. And a question and answer type of thing was what we had originally planned. So basically, but generally speaking, the student body, I think, it's more of a relaxed feel this year because you don't have a large student fee with football coming on.
Yes.
The only fee we've passed is the $5 Little Bucks fee.
Which was enormously widely supported.
Right. It was unanimously supported in the Senate, and students all over had positive feedback through our social media, through interactions with them on campus. And so because of more minor changes in the fact of fees and those type of things, I think that the students have been more moderate this year opposed to last year.
Last year was...
Whereas wild,
tense.
football's coming back, and
Yes,
there's a big fee.
And some of it was, yay, football's coming back, and some of it was, oh my God, football is coming back, and you're also charging us, what was it, $125 a semester or whatever it was? Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It is.
And you guys are not asking students to do that at all this year. No legislation was passed about that. So $5 a semester to make sure we have daycare on campus.
Not too bad.
Who can't support that?
Right.
Well, that's cool. Okay,
Price
so
of
any
coffee.
other important legislation that you passed that you should apprise the student body of?
Yeah, there are several different pieces. Some are quick fixes, such as like the support of the desegregation of the fountain, to where we just have a statement of, hey, like, this is what we support. Let's not like chalk or violently kind of market our own organizations on the fountain, or in support of ROTC. When they had been facing the phase out.
Yes.
So we have some supportive pieces of legislation, as well as the custodial staff too, when they were undergoing rumors that they were going to be outsourced. And then some more interactive, such as the Pride Walk, which is coming at the beginning of Civility Week, which will be a stretch of pavement so that student organizations can advertise their own space with respect to ETSU and Civility. And then we also have things such as a free speech board that we're wanting to implement.
What would that be?
So it'd basically be a board outside of Borchuk Plaza where people can write just whatever they want. However, these things, they pass, but logistically the implementation is left up to the administration to see with funding and those type of things.
That makes sense.
So
So the way that ultimately the government's, the SGA's sort of legislation decision-making works is you guys decide, here's a piece of legislation we want enacted, and you pass it, and then you forward that legislation onto the administration, and the administration ultimately has the last say about whether or not it gets executed?
Well, yes, in some aspects. Dr. Nolan typically drafts what we can do and what we can't do logistically, and then he brings that back to us, actually. And then we kind of have more conversation if it's not exactly what we were wanting.
Okay.
For instance, security is a big concern on campus right now. I think it's more of the image of security and less of our criminal rates or what have
Right.
you. And so, you know, there's been a lot of concerns with lighting
Yeah.
when it's dark outside, but lighting is very expensive. So we
Extremely.
can't just ask for all these lights, but we can implement a few light fixtures, such as the one we just implemented outside of Lucille Clement Hall, because
Okay.
a lot of women outside of that hall were concerned about security purposes at night.
And that hall was not particularly well lit.
Right,
There
it was
was
very
one night I was
dark.
on campus. I was actually doing something in Lucy, and there was a dude dressed as the bunny from Donnie Darko, just standing outside the building.
Yeah.
He was terrifying, and there was no reason for that. And he was standing in this extremely poorly lit area under sort of an awning next to a hedge. I was like, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm afraid, so I'm glad that that sort of has been remedied. Let's talk for a little bit about the upcoming Civility Week you just mentioned, and we got a
Right.
concert I want to make some reference to in our last few
Yeah.
minutes that we have together. So Civility Week, tell me about what the basic premise behind Civility Week is.
So it's communication with consent, and so it's an opportunity for students to engage in communication effectively,
Right.
And with consent. We're doing Speak Your Piece is the theme. So we basically want to encourage students to say what they want to say, but in a respectful way that doesn't discriminate against others
Right.
and that type of thing. And a big question is, how do you communicate effectively your opinion without harming another's?
Right, or at least harming another person's ability or feeling of safety to be able to express their opinion if it happens to contradict with yours, right? I mean,
Right.
this free society comes about because we share ideas, and we don't all have to agree, but I have to create a safe space.
Exactly, and so the whole week is programmed around those points.
So what kinds of events are we going to be able to see during Civility Week? So there's an opening event, usually.
Yes, so the Pride Walk is basically our opening event where people will be painting outside there, and their allotted space for their organization will stay for a whole calendar year. And then we'll have Andrew Jinks come, and he's from MTV.
Yeah.
And he has been all around the world and seen some amazing things, so we're looking forward to having him during our Civility Week programming.
And he's going to speak at some point. So he's scheduled as a
Yes.
speaker. Okay.
Right.
That's cool.
And
then there should
so-
be panels. And
Yeah. Panels and different organizations sign up to do their own thing.
Okay. So, and all of these are going to be advertised where? So if like students can pick and choose which events they want to see or attend or whatever else. And so where can we
Right.
find information about these things?
On www.etsu.edu/SGA. Also, I'm going to email it. There's posters around, so
There will be promotion.
There
And
will
so
be
Civility Week is
promotion.
actually when? April 6th through the
12th.
The 12th. So people should be paying attention to that. You're really excited about the upcoming concert.
I am.
Which is Old Crow Medicine Show.
Old Crow Medicine Show.
Is
I've
coming
seen
to
them once,
ETSU.
and I'm ready to see them again because they're one of my favorite bands. And they're also playing with the Carolina Chocolate Drops, who I've also seen, and I'm so excited for because they put on a great concert.
I've heard of them. I don't think I'm familiar with the Carolina Chocolate Drops music at all, so I'm pretty excited about that one. When is the concert?
The concert is April 27th.
April 20th. There's a lot going on with the SGA, things with April, whatever else. And so students can get into the concert free, as always, and whatnot. And so when do those tickets become available?
I think it's 2 or 3 weeks before the 27th.
But there will be promotion for that as well, so people can pay
Right,
attention. Is this going to be an
right, they'll
outdoor
know.
concert, indoor concert? Where
Indoor
the
concert.
So in the dome?
Yes.
Okay.
And the concert restriction has been lifted so that the teeny boppers can come to the concert as well. So students that have kids won't be discouraged from attending if they are on babysitter duty.
Is there typically an age restriction on these concerts? I know that this
Yes.
one, okay.
18.
All right, 18 years old, but that has been eliminated for Old Crow.
Right.
So people
And
can bring
maybe
their-
for future concerts.
Well, that's exciting.
Right. It
So-
should be at the parents' discretion whether their children go to Wiz Khalifa, right?
I would tend to agree with that, yes. Like, parents can make good decisions about their kids or bad decisions, but it's their decision to make.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, long story short about Mike Wallace, running the SGA, and your term is almost over here at the end of this year.
It is.
You're going to see that go and with SAE and comm studies and whatnot and concerts and et cetera. And so, any final parting thoughts you'd like your audience to know this morning?
Well, election is coming up.
Okay.
So I do want to quickly plug that in.
Very quickly, we have 2 seconds.
Okay.
When is it?
Election applications due noon today.
Okay.
Election will be April 14th. It will be decided, and campaigns and votes and stuff start. So stay tuned.
All of that. And so, excellent. We are going to come right back with Morgan from ROTC. Stay tuned.